everybody, there's another filler episode. Oh, and what's this? A Geography Now mug and a Geography Now shirt, both of which you can get at geographynow.com. Yes, it is. Not selling out if it's your brand. Love saying that because it's true. So for any of you that have been following my social medias, you'll know that before I filmed the Tuvalu episode, I was actually invited to be a guest speaker at the Extraordinary Travel Festival in Yerevan, Armenia. This is basically a festival for some of the world's top renowned travelers. To this day, there are only about 300 known people that have gone to every single one of the 193 recognized UN nations of the world, and many of them were at this festival. I'm not one of these people. Compared to them, I'm actually a novice. Armenia was actually my 71st country. I'm not even half as much as these people, so ooh. Now, this was my first time in Armenia. I didn't know exactly what to expect. I mean, I've been around lots of Armenians, but it's like there's a difference between walking down Glendale and Yerevan. And I guess this video will serve as a guide to give you a glimpse of what to expect the moment you step into Armenia. So cue the Geography Go intro. Let's go! Ah, love that theme song. Let's go! So let's just give a little context. For one, about a third of the entire country's population lives in the capital, Yerevan, and the metropolitan area surrounding it. Yerevan is a city rooted deep in tradition, yet enveloped in a somewhat noticeably austere looming ambiance that tells you the story of how it got to where it is today. Everybody here knows a story of death, yet they try their best to keep looking as lively as possible, even if it means a fountain light show or a random spider statue. While I was there, I met up with my good friend Gus. He was actually the guy that got me in contact with this festival, so thank you, Gus. Cheers. And I also met up with Geography David. He was like my Armenia correspondent. And also thank you, Rick, for organizing and working with this whole thing. You're awesome, Rick. So I guess we'll just kind of jump into it. Here are the top things you will probably notice once you enter into Armenia. First thing you will notice, the script. Armenian is one of the few Indo-European languages that has not adopted the Latin or Cyrillic scripts for their language and has kept their native writing system for over 1600 years. The curved arched letters look like various offshoots of the letter U or J in English, with an occasional S or O. Recently, English has been more widely adopted as a third language taught in schools and used as subscripts as opposed to Cyrillic and Russian. Generally speaking, most of the younger generation can communicate in English as well, so English speakers shouldn't have too much of a problem if they visit. So I am like being the cheesiest tourist right now. You know, I got the Armenian alphabet on a shirt. I don't care. I don't care. Second thing you'll notice, tuff stone. Tuff is essentially the byproduct of volcanic ash that has been compacted into stone over time. It has a porous, gruff texture with glassy fragments churned in. Nearly every building in Yerevan is made of this stuff. Armenian or Caucasus tuff is characterized by its iconic rosy pink or reddish color, hence giving Yerevan the nickname the Pink City. And other than the Caucasus region and parts of Turkey, this type of colored lava rock is actually quite rare. Number 3, the post-Soviet influence. Walking around, you will notice that Armenia shows lots of hints to its past as a former USSR republic. So many of the buildings, monuments, structures, and statues have that typical blocky socialist realism style to it. In addition, you can find every iconic Russian dish either sold at grocery stores or served in restaurants. Gotta love that borscht and vinaigrette. If you leave the city and go to the outskirts, you'll find these abandoned Soviet-era bunkers and power stations either built on hillsides or that go deep underground using magnetic wavelengths, observatories on hillsides, and even an enormous decommissioned radio-optical telescope built into the ground. This whole subjectively harsh aesthetic is almost eerily romantic in a way on how it gives off the feeling of great power and great loss at the same time. It's like an attempted idealized utilitarian structure that kind of organically fell apart and evolved into something solely new at the hands of the Armenians after the dissolution of the USSR. In any case, another thing that gives off post-Soviet vibes, the metro. Despite Yerevan having only one main line with a second one on the way, the Yerevan metro is super cheap. One ride only cost 100 dram, or about 20 cents. Locals complained that it used to be 50 dram. And of course, like other USSR states, it goes super deep into the ground and doubles as a nuclear fallout shelter just in case. This is a pretty fast escalator. The ones I go to in America are slow. Okay. Yeah. The platforms are ornate with stone pillars, columns, and chandeliers. The trains are these rectangular compartments, a little bit on the older side, but still efficient, yet the ride is super loud. David, we found you. Turn around. We found you, David. Number 5, mountains. Over 85% of Armenia is mountainous, and only 3% of the country lies below 650 meters above sea level. Due to the confluence of the Arabian, Anatolian, and Eurasian plates, many of these mountains are actually extinct or dormant volcanoes, including the tallest peak, Mount Ararat, which is rarely seen without clouds covering the peak. From Yerevan, you can see the majestic Mount Ararat, which lies in Turkey, yet they revere it to the point where they name half of all their domestic brands after it. Number 6, water fountains. Everywhere you go in the country, you see these perpetually spouting fountains that give off free, fresh spring water to the public, perfectly safe to drink and super refreshing. You will never go unquenched in this land. Number 7, chess. It became super popular, especially when Grandmaster Tigran Petrosyan became the world chess champion in the 60s, and today Armenia is a chess superpower. They became the first country in the world to teach it mandatorily in schools, and with only about 3 million people, they have one of the highest number of chess grandmasters per capita in the world. Number 8, Apostolic Christianity. Contrary to what many assume, Armenia is not Eastern Orthodox, but rather Apostolic or Oriental Orthodox, on par doctrinally with Coptic churches of Egypt or Ethiopian Eritrean churches, as well as those in West India. They were the first country in the world to adopt Christianity as a state religion, and all over you can find churches with the iconic cone-shaped steeples made of, you guessed it, tuff stone. Number 9, brandy. Armenia is a land of brandy. In Yerevan alone, you can actually find 2 massive opposing brandy distilleries facing each other across the Victory Bridge. Everywhere you go in the country, you will see it. They sell it at grocery stores, malls, convenience shops. They take brandy seriously, and sometimes you can even find the highest quality bottles costing thousands of dollars on shelves. Number 10, patterns and designs. Everywhere you walk in Yerevan and other parts of the country, you'll notice these geometric patterns and designs, usually with the colors of the flag, red, orange, and blue, everywhere you go. Like many of their neighbors, the patterns are usually derived from carpet designs that have ideograms and symbols used from ancient times stitched into them. Number 11, Artsakh. We won't go too much into this because it's pretty controversial, but if you go to Armenia, you will probably see this map, which includes the areas east of the southern regions that they claim to be a part of their country that they call Artsakh. This is the area where all the conflict with neighboring Azerbaijan is located. It is an ongoing dispute with lots of context and heated debate. I'm not here to act like an authoritative figure to speak on it. I'm just saying this is one thing you will notice in Armenia. And finally, Hayastan. Armenians are interesting in that they are one of the countries with a larger population in diaspora than the actual country that they come from. Every year, hundreds of thousands of Armenians across the world sort of make a pilgrimage back to the motherland to learn more and embrace their roots and heritage. Armenians in Armenia work really hard to make sure that they don't forget it, and will never shy away from an opportunity to put Armenia on full display in Armenia. It's a small country, but it knows who it is.
So, David, do you think I could pass for looking as Armenian?
No.
No?
No.
What do you think I would pass? I don't look
not
Armenian.
Korean, not
Okay.
Korean.
You think I can, David? Oh.
You're just pure Scandinavian.
You might pass as Russian here. They think you're Russian.
No, not Russian.
That's not even?
They don't have like
Super blonde hair?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, David, what is your favorite thing about Armenia?
Nature.
Nature?
Mountains.
Mountains?
Nature, mountains, lakes, everything.
Okay, if this was the Armenia episode, in conclusion, how would you conclude Armenia?
We love every country. We love every people that are come here.
A little bit of controversy, but
For me, not. No. We are grateful anyone to come here and watch our landscape. See that. Make like fall in love with our mountains. Fall in love with our people.
yes.
And live a little.
Yeah, live a little.
Live a little in
Okay,
Armenia.
good. Armenia. Yeah. So there you go. My stay there was pretty awesome. I loved it. Also in Armenia, I forgot to mention, you have to pace yourself when you eat in Armenia because they will give you like 80 billion side dishes before they even get to the main course. It's like I'm already full after the 3rd course, and then there's like, when's the kebab gonna come? When's the meat gonna come? But it's like grilled veggies, something with cheese. I don't know. There's just too much food. Dude, I'm American, so you know it's like a big deal when I say even they eat too much. I don't know how they do it. Jesus, like 80 course meal. For what it's worth, I had a great time. People there were so nice, so accommodating. As I went through, this was shortly after there was another scuffle between them and Azerbaijan. Yes, the people were fully aware of all the controversies that were going on. It was still an amazing time, and I'm so glad I got to see other parts of the country. And after this, Gus and I actually took a road trip to Georgia, and we checked out that country. So I guess that will be the next Geography Go episode. If you would like to see some behind the scenes and all that other cool stuff, I'm going to be posting it on Patreon. If you'd like to join Patreon, go to patreon.com/geographynow, make a little donation, and see some cool stuff that happened that didn't get to go in this episode, and some other behind the scenes Geography Now stuff if you're interested in that. And with that, cheers. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. Stay cool, stay tuned.